Hey there, this is Jeff, and I'm trying to answer a post on the Cakewalk forum where someone made a recording and they just want to cut out a bunch of stuff that they don't want. So, for example, here we have a recording with just some crowd noise or whatever, and maybe this here is the part of the recording we want. So we want to go ahead and kill the rest of it. So I'm going to do control. I put my this is called the now time. I just click that in roughly where I want it. I do control A to select all the tracks. I hit S to split the tracks. Automatically the area to the left of the split gets highlighted. That is a choice in preferences where you can change it so the area to the right gets highlighted when you do a split. It's up to you. But this is the default behavior and it works fine for me. And so now I could just hit the delete key and that area goes away. Now I can do control A, control X, and that will take that track data and put it on my clipboard. Now if I do W, which is return to 0, it takes me back to the very beginning, and now control V, I have now moved the remainder of the audio to the very beginning. Now, if I want to remove what is after the end of my song, so there we go. Now I get a little wind down, and now I do control A, control A, S to split. Now I'm going to right click with my mouse and drag to get this nice box. And because these are set to clips, see where it says clips there? It's going to highlight these two clips. Now, if I don't know what I do, unselect all. What's unselect all? I can't remember. Control Shift A, and now I've unselected all. If I select both tracks and set this maybe to the volume automation, and I do this, it doesn't select the clips. Do you see that? Now there's a couple ways you can shift the focus back to clips. One is you can shift click at the bottom half of the track, and that has changed this track back to clips. I could also control A to select all of the tracks and then click the drop down and choose clips while still holding down the control key, and I've flipped back to clips as well. Again, right click and drag to make the box, and I get the selection on the two tracks that I want to delete. I hit the delete key, and now that's deleted. And now I move my cursor up to the top. I control A to select my two clips. I hover at the top of the track and I drag. Now when you have a new track, you see how this is shifting in increments? If I hit the N key, you will see it flows more fluidly. Okay, I'm doing that again. Hitting the N key, it moves in increments, so it is what it's doing, it's snapping to a beat. If I hit the N key again, selecting my tracks, hover at the top, move my auto fade. Now if you come way out here, it actually starts to affect the waveform, so you can see that it's compressing the waveform. But let's say we want a fairly quick fade out, and we want both tracks to move back in. You see when I hover at the top here, I get this little triangle below my mouse pointer. When I hover here, I get this two-way arrow. And if with both tracks selected I move that, I can move that back up here so I get a quicker fade out, and I can check it. There we go, that'll do fine. So maybe I want to do the same thing at the beginning here. I select both tracks. I hover until I get to the thing here and I bring this in. I move to the top, fade in. I can now control X to remove both tracks, W to return to 0, control V to paste them in. I'm now pasted in at the very beginning. Okay. Now if I want to see what the waveform is going to look like before I export it, and these are both routed through the master bus, I can do tracks, bounce to tracks. I have this mapped to the hotkey Control Shift E, and what this does is it just bounces it together. Now if I was really simple about it, I could, and I want it to be fairly loud without doing any proper audio stuff with limiters and the rest of it, I could do normalize, right? And a common normalized thing is to minus 0.02 or or minus 0.2 or minus 0.3. And that what did I do? Did I do it wrong? Must be here at the very end. There's some loud thing. So I'm going to do that again. Process, normalize. Where is it? Apply effect, normalize, and then minus 0.2 go. And now when I move over this loudest section here on this track, I'm going to solo this track. I'm also going to change the routing from the master bus, which might have effects on it. I'm going to route it directly out to a stereo out. Goodness, that's loud. All right, help me. All right, I'm going to reduce the volume. Well, if I reduce the volume, I won't be able to tell the thing. All right, I'm just going to take my headphones off. And here you can see that we've got the minus 0.2 peak. If I click on the top and do File, Export Audio, I can now save this to my hard drive as my file. And I can specify a bit depth. And if I wanted to save it as MP3, I just select MP3 and do export, and that's the end of that. Now, one of the things that someone asked about was how to record a metronome click. So if I click on play, now it's got the metronome click, and if I just click play here, you can hear the metronome. But if I select a region and I do bounce to tracks to a new track and go, it doesn't include the metronome anymore. That used to include the metronome click if it was marked for bouncing, but it no longer does. I guess people got frustrated with that. So what you can do is you can route the metronome out to an aux track. So rather than routing the metronome to the master bus, you say new aux track. And now you have a new aux track here, and you just enable it and record it. And you can see the tick of the metronome here, and then you're recording the track. Do you see that? And that's with just regular R for record. But maybe you don't want to use regular R. Maybe you just want to select a region and record it. So I don't know. Can we do this? I don't know if this will work. I'll try. Whatever. See what we get. Oh, that gets us nothing. Yeah, I think we just have to do R. I don't think you can fast bounce the metronome. So if someone knows of a way to fast bounce the metronome, let us know, because I don't know of one. One of the things you can do, obviously, is you could split the metronome and then make a clip and drag it out. That would be one way to save yourself the trouble of actually recording minutes of metronome, which seems like a total waste of time. The other thing that I do is I'll often just create a MIDI track and put my own click on. One of the things that's nice about this is you often just want the count in anyway, and at which point you could just do like that, and now you have a count in for your recording. Hope I've been helpful. Oh my gosh, the thing stopped ages ago. Oh well.